Hola a todos, soy Mechin y bienvenidos al 16º día de Mechinverse. Y hoy vamos a jugar a un juego que sinceramente no sé, no sé qué pensar de este juego. Sé muy poco de este juego, lo poco que sé es que es un Walking Simulator y es de los creadores de Stanley Parable. Poco más. Y el tráiler de Steam es lo poco que sé de este juego, pero tengo ganas de saber de qué coño va, así que vamos a verlo. Asegúrate de que el sonido está activado. Lo está. Y he hecho la prueba de audio para que no me joda y tal. Como hace normalmente. Va bien.
Hi there. Thank you very much for playing the Beginner's Guide.
De nada.
My name is Davey Reedon.
Hola.
I wrote the Stanley Parable, and while that game tells a pretty absurd story,
Ajá.
today I'm going to tell you about a series of events that happened between 2008
Ok, pero...
and 2011.
o sea, ¿eventos reales?
We're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named Coda.
Coda, ok.
Now these
Apuntado.
games mean a lot to me. I met Coda in early 2009 at a time when I was really struggling with some personal stuff, and his work pointed me in a very powerful direction. I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make. So just to start you off, this is, I think, the first game he ever made. It's a level for Counter-Strike. You can walk around here, by the way. And mostly it's just Coda learning the basics.
Es la primera vez que
of
estoy
building
jugando
a 3D
Counter-Strike.
environment. But what I like is that even though he starts from the simple aesthetic of a desert town, he then scatters these colorful abstract blobs and impossible floating crates around the level. And of course, it destroys the illusion that this actually is a desert town, and instead this level becomes a kind of calling card from its creator. It's like a reminder that this video game was constructed by a real person. And it kind of makes you wonder, what was going through his head as he was building this? This is what I like
Buena
about all of
pregunta.
Coda's games. I mean, not that they're all fascinating as games, but that they are all going to give us access to their creator. I want us to see past the games themselves. I want to get to know who this human being really is. And that's exactly what we're going to do here.
Interesante.
So, it's 2008, Coda starts making these games, and he never releases any of them. He doesn't put them onto the internet, he just makes them and then immediately abandons them, and they sit on his computer forever. And I think he really understood this image of himself as a recluse. At one point, he jokingly renamed his computer's recycling bin to Important Games Folder. So, you know, this was just how he worked. He tended to crank them out one after the other without even really pausing to try to understand what he had just made. Until suddenly one day, he just stopped. In 2011, that was it. He made his last game, and then he hasn't made another one since.
Qué raro.
And that's why I've taken this opportunity to gather all of his work together, is because I find his games powerful and interesting, and I'd like this collection to reach him, to maybe encourage him to start creating again. And if the people like you who play this also happen to find his work interesting, then I'm sure it'll just send that much stronger of a message of encouragement to Coda. So thanks for joining me on this. If you have a particular interpretation,
es raro, es como un
I haven't
podcast,
mentioned here, or
pero
if you just
que
need
te
to
puedes
get in touch,
mover.
you can email me at daveywreden@gmail.com. Okay, that's about it for introduction. Let's take a look at Coda's first proper game.
Ok.
As each game is loading, I'll show you the date that it was completed.
Vale.
This first one was made in November
Noviembre de
2008.
2008. De acuerdo. Cargando. Noviembre de 2008. Dios, no. Aviso. Máquina de susurros activado. Vale.
This game is called Escape from Whisper, and it's one of the more generic games you'll see from Coda.
Ajá. ¿Va a venir alguien a por mí que necesite disparar? Tengo una pistola. Tendría sentido.
Security code breached. Hostile alien life form inbound.
It kind of looks like this game was abandoned mid-development. For instance, you have this gun, which you'd think would indicate that there are supposed to be monsters or enemies somewhere, but then clearly there are no enemies anywhere. You can't even reload the gun when you run out of bullets. But ultimately we don't really know. Maybe Coda thought that actually it was complete the way that it is. And I think that we should talk about his games for what they are,
Nos hemos quedado sin balas y no hace nada.
Enemy force neutralized. Begin ship evacuation.
I love how you can see the bottom of the universe from this room.
Genial. El fondo del universo. Creo que el universo no tiene
Apparently,
realmente...
the space station has a labyrinth on it. Sure, I don't know.
Perfecto.
There's really no reason for it that I've ever been able to discern, so in the interest of time, I'm just gonna skip you on past it.
Ok, gracias.
Okay, this is the part that's interesting.
Ok.
The game has this narrative about the whisper machine and how it has to be turned off, and then you get to the engine room.
Hey, you there, in the engine room. You could save us all. That beam is powering the whisper machine. We could disrupt it by producing a great enough heat signature. If your body could stop the beam. It's so much to ask, but for all of our lives, would you do it? Could you do
Wow.
it yourself?
Esto... That escalated quickly.
Let me pause here for a second. What you just experienced, stepping into the beam and then dying, is probably what Coda had initially intended when he was developing this level. But when he first compiles and plays it, something goes wrong. There's a bug somewhere. And this is what happens instead.
Vale. Oh. What the fuck?
The beam causes you to start floating.
Ok.
And this is an important moment for him. Because yes, this is technically a glitch, but Coda identifies something human about it. Like how small it makes you feel in the face of this larger chaotic system. Or this floating could be the afterlife, a peaceful place, juxtaposed against all of the hysteria that you've just had to traverse.
Ajá.
I don't even know. I have no idea what he was thinking, but what's clear is that
¿Tenía
after
realmente
making
una salida al
this,
laberinto?
something lodges itself in his brain.
Sí, tenía.
He wants to do more of these really weird and experimental designs. So he stops work on this and moves on to a stream of tiny little games that go in all sorts of directions.
Con que tal
Let's go
fondo, de
ahead and
verdad.
take a look at the first game he made after leaving this one behind.
Vale, también noviembre de 2008. El pasado estaba detrás de ella.
Yep. In this game, you can only walk backwards.
Oh. ¡Oh! 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 Ya veo. Interesante. Que es una especie de...
So it's a short and relatively
Pero el futuro no
minimalist
se podía ver.
experiment combining motion and narrative.
¿Por qué el futuro no
It is
deja de
less
cambiar?
advanced than the previous game, but actually it seems to be more focused, more complete. Code is trying to give it a unique voice rather than simply basing it on a pre-existing trope.
Oh. Pero si el futuro siempre está detrás de ella, ¿cómo encontrará la fuerza para enfrentarse a él?
It's a short little thought, it says what it wants to say, and then it ends. Didn't need anything more than that.
Ok.
Which to me is why it works, because it gets out quick. Okay, next one.
¡Qué random es este juego! Otro de noviembre de 2008. Uy, no me gusta esto. Ahora estás entrando. Por favor, voz, háblame.
And that's it. Okay, the meaning of this game won't be clear just yet. Please be patient with me for a few more minutes, and I promise you'll see what makes it.
¿Qué ha sido eso? Diciembre de 2008. ¿Qué ha sido ese? Tonterías en casi todas las
Oftentimes, Coda would
direcciones.
put bizarre titles like this one at the start of his games. I wish I'd known him at the time that he was making these early games. He would really only talk to me about his work as he was making it. Once he stopped work on a game, like, that was it. It was dead to him. And I don't agree with that at all, but what are you gonna do?
Ay, Dios.
Once you've been slowed to an absolute crawl, the door at the top of the stairs opens. So why, if Coda's not showing these games to anyone, why bother opening the door at all? Well, to show you, I'm modifying the game here so that when you press enter, it'll bring you back up to full speed so you can enter the door for yourself.
De acuerdo. Pulso enter. De acuerdo.
A room that's warm and nice and filled with little ideas for games.
Huh. Claro,
Coda would often tell me that he didn't mind if people thought of him as cold or distant. He said that he knew that he was actually a vibrant and compassionate person, but that it takes time to really see that. It can be a very slow climb to get there.
Una llave en un juego desbloquea una puerta en un juego totalmente separado. Wow. Vale, enero de 2009. Ya pasamos al 2009. ¿Preparados? ¿Listos? A pescar. Perfecto, me quedan los nombres. Ok.
Well, this is new for Coda. It's an actual puzzle. Go ahead and
Sí,
see
bueno.
if you can solve it.
Más o menos.
Don't forget that solution,
Ajá.
because we're going to see this puzzle again soon. We're gonna see it a lot.
Oh, vale, vale. Tengo que recordar esa solución, ¿eh? Vale, no podemos cerrar esa puerta.
So that seems to be it, right? You walk down a corridor, you solve the puzzle, you get to the end. Simple enough. Alright, now I'm going to modify the game again, so that when you press enter, it'll remove all of the walls
De
from this
acuerdo.
room.
¿Qué coño?
How about that? There was more to it than we had any way of knowing. I actually find it funny that this game comes after the stairs game, since they essentially convey the opposite idea. So, in the stairs game, a dull exterior concealed a rich interior. And then, in this level, a dull interior hides this fantastic outer world. Either way, I think that the point is the same, is that most of the time you don't get to know what you're missing, or even that you're missing anything. That's not your role as a player. So if your role here is not to understand, then what is it?
Wow. ¿Otra vez? Ahora estás saliendo.
Aha. So this, combined with the entering game from earlier, tells us that Coda believes his games are connected somehow. It could even be that the stairs game and the puzzle game are literally connected in between this and the entering game. There's a bigger picture that all of his games are meant to play a role in, some larger meaning that we won't be able to grasp until we've seen all of them. And once we have, we can step back and start to understand what exactly that bigger picture is.
Este juego es muy extraño, pero guay. Marzo de 2009. Febrero... No he oído nada en febrero. O este era de febrero. No, creo que era enero también. No me he fijado. El gran y encantador descenso. Verás. Una casa en medio de la nada, básicamente.
Let's talk about video game development for a second. Every video game runs on what's called an engine, which determines what the game can and cannot do. So in other words, the engine is a set of tools for game development.
Ay, Dios.
To make all of these games, Coda is using an engine called Source. Like all engines, Source has certain things that it does well, and it has certain things that it does poorly. One of the things that it does very well is boxy linear corridors. That's why so many of Coda's games are set in these large, flat, empty rooms, is just because he's working with what the engine does well. The tools available to the creator shape what kinds of creative work they're going to end up making. You might consider paying attention to the architecture in Coda's games, to notice how they seem to stem from an engine that's very good at producing linear, boxy corridors.
No sé qué está pasando. Estoy muy perdido.
This prison, funny enough, in Coda's original design, the doors stayed shut for a full hour before letting you go. If you don't mind, I think we're gonna skip that.
Sí, gracias.
This is something that he and I used to argue about a lot. You know, whether a game ought to actually be playable, whether it means anything if no one can get through it. And I would always defend that, you know, all this work goes into the game, why not make it playable and accessible? And so we just got into heated arguments over it, and there was one time that after one of these conversations, he went home, and a day or two later, he sent me a zip file entitled Playable Games that was full of hundreds of individual games, each of which was just an empty box that you walked around in and nothing else. Believe me, I played every single one of those just to find out if there was like a gag hidden somewhere. There wasn't.
Hijo de puta. Ha!
It's the puzzle again, with the exact same solution as the last time. There's still no clear indication of what makes this puzzle so special that Coda is going to return to it over and over.
Es el mismo
But I promise
puzzle que
I'll
hemos
share
hecho
with you my
antes.
interpretation very shortly.
Tú, has salido de arriba. ¿Qué tal por arriba?
Here, Coda begins using a kind of dialogue system that he fashioned out of the engine's chat capabilities.
Sí, había un
Use
mundo
the
lleno de
1, 2, 3
blancura.
buttons on your keyboard to respond.
Ese es el mundo de arriba. Has estado allí. Esto es importante. ¿Tuviste que superar un acertijo con 2 puertas e interruptores? Sí. Eso fue literalmente lo último que hice antes de venir aquí. Perfecto, una vez más. Y ahora dinos cómo lo has resuelto. Dinos la solución. Dinos cómo ir al otro lado. Hazme caso, no te gustaría ir allí. Oh, no, pero tenemos que hacerlo. Tenemos que hacerlo. Tenemos que ir allí. ¿Lo entiendes? Es la cosa más importante del mundo. Tenemos que escapar de esta prisión. Tiene que haber un final. Oh, te lo prometo. No hay nada que desee más. A lo mejor el tiene que haber un final es algo más simbólico. Hola, ¿cómo has llegado hasta aquí? ¿Has tenido que superar un acertijo? No, llevo aquí todo el tiempo. Te sugiero que vayas y veas el acertijo alguna vez. No hay que resolverlo, pero puedes sentarte en el espacio negro en el medio. ¿Por qué ibas a sentarte en el espacio negro? Ah, es bastante placentero. Tal vez no parezca desde el principio, pero te lo acaba apareciendo. Finalmente. Esto es raro de narices, la 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 la.
And so we make one last descent down to the final floor of the level. It's a lamppost. Okay, I can't tell you quite why. For some reason, Coda fixates on this lamppost. It's going to appear at the end of every single one of his games from here on out. I'll tell you what I think. I think that up to this point, you know, he's been making really strange and abstract games with no clear purpose, and maybe you can only float around in that headspace for so long. Because now he wants something to hold on to. He wants a reference point. He wants the work to be leading to something. He wants a destination, which is what this lamppost is. It's a destination. We're going to see it in the work as well. His games are just going to become a lot more cohesive, a lot more fully developed, with more of a clear idea behind them. And as we go, that idea will get clearer and clearer and clearer.
Interesante. Abril de 2009. Vale. Este juego está conectado a internet. Puedes dejar notas mientras vayas andando. Todas las notas que ves las han dejado otros jugadores. Pero de verdad. Bonita habitación. Pues no. Vale, ¿cómo puedo dejar yo una nota? No se puede, ¿no?
So first off, I'm sure you can deduce this, but
Vale.
this game is not connected to the internet. All of the notes that you're gonna see
¿Cómo
have
se
been
hace este
written
juego?
by Coda. This was
No merece
actually
la
the
pena.
first game of his that I ever played. This was shortly after I met him at a weekend game jam in Sacramento, where I grew up. I saw him working on this very level,
Joder.
and it was just so different from
¿Hay
anything
alguien
that
ahí?
anyone else was doing. So right away I was like, I have to be friends with this person.
Hola.
In retrospect, I think I was probably a bit too pushy, trying to get his attention. I was
Razonable.
over-enthusiastic. But he was very
¿Sabes todo el
gracious
mundo
about
esto?
it and very patient with me. And I
Este
cooled
lugar
off
me pone
eventually.
triste.
Oh, feel free to skip over any of these notes if they're not doing anything for you. Nothing extra is going to happen if you read all of them.
Quiero contarte un secreto. Una
Either
vez
way, to me they convey a sense of
define lo que es
loneliness.
diversión.
I see this
Soy el
person
rey del
who's
mundo.
filled with thoughts and feelings
Gilipolleces.
and beliefs
Perfecto.
and has no way to express them
No es que madera
except
y
as
hierba y cemento aquí, what the
scattered
fuck.
and unheard voices in a game that wasn't meant to be played.
Este juego
But
no
it's
mola.
ironic, isn't it? That in playing this game and seeing how alone Coda often
Acabo de ver un
felt,
pico
that
te
we
diré que es
get
una de
to
las
know
cosas
him
más
better
majestuosas
and
que he visto.
actually kind of connect with him.
No me apetece seguir vivo porque nada será tan majestuoso. No quiero volver a ver nada si es igual de majestuoso. Estoy llorando y quiero arrancarme los ojos. Es lo que voy a
Play
hacer.
someone's game
¿Qué coño?
and see the voices in their head and get to know them better and have to do less of the messy in-person socializing. I could just get to know you through your work. I think this is why I always liked Coda's games so much, is because it felt like they let me have that connection. I felt as though he was inviting me personally into his world. And then I feel less lonely too.
Ja. Curioso. ¿Qué mierda es esta caverna? ¿Qué rollo? Te garantizo que hay una bellota aquí, en alguna parte, y los marineros están... What the fuck? ¿Qué marineros? Chicos, solo estoy buscando a alguien con quien hablar. Uf. Me niego a creérmelo. ¿Qué caraculo? Ah, no, culo, perfecto. Necesito ir al baño, joder. Pues ve, compañero. Hazme caso, por favor. Aquí no hay nada, date la vuelta. No escuches a ese tío. Una camiseta gratis. Necesito ir al otro lado. Puerta, ¿por qué tú? ¿Cómo se abre la puerta? Ábrete, sésamo. Tiene sentido, ponéis una puerta. La puerta no se abre, gracias. Vale. Algún día conoceré a la persona que ha hecho esto. Ayuda a la gente porque me siento bien por dentro. ¡Nueva sala! Sí, hay un cuadro raro. ¿Qué te muevas? ¿Las campanas? ¿Qué campanas? Me asusta tener que escribir algo. No me gusta que se me juzgue. Aquí no hay mucha gente. Puedes entrar aquí. Ni te molestes. Y de repente todos son poetas. No escribir nada aquí. Me siento obligado. Para darte la vuelta, si continúas solo conseguirás miseria. Esto es muy... Toma mi mano, saltemos juntos. Joder. El repollo da forma a nuestra nación. ¿Qué es ese cuadro? Vale, vamos a ir pasando sin leerlas porque si no estamos aquí 2 horas solo leyendo las putas notitas. Vamos a pasar por todas. Por si acaso igualmente, pero... ¿No nos va a volver a hablar el hombre de momento? No parece. Vale, por aquí me hay un montón. Esta persona, todos moriremos algún día. ¿Quiénes sois todos vosotros? Joder, es... El que ha hecho esto tenía algún problema. Que eso le haya puesto... Deja de fingir. O sea, mezcla cosas en plan de... Súper serias. No estoy seguro de si el juego realmente, o sea, la historia es real, pasó de verdad, o si está inventado para el tal. Pero si no está inventada, si es una historia real, es una historia basada en hechos reales, es muy interesante. De acuerdo.
Each of these games represents an idea that was on Coda's mind at the time that he was making it. And the puzzle
Cada vez van escuchando más susurros,
on a previous chapter of his life before moving on to the next one. In each of his games, after exploring a theme that, he might find difficult, Coda can then place this puzzle that he knows has a reliable solution, he understands exactly how it works, and so it gives him a simple mechanism for moving on. And because there's this dark area between the doors, a space between spaces, before you move on, you get to pause. Just for a moment, a few seconds to reflect on and let go of the events that led you here. To step back and connect the pieces together. To grasp at that elusive bigger picture.
Ay, Dios. Tienes que escribir. Y la misma farola, ¿eh? Estás ahí, di algo. Puede ser cualquier cosa. Solo tienes que decir algo. Habla conmigo, por favor. ¿Por qué te está costando tanto hablar? Habla, 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 habla. Mayo, junio de 2009. Las estrellas del porno también mueren.
It's gonna kind of just spin its own wheels for a few minutes. Hang with it.
Hay un pozo. Una puerta y un cuadro. Vale, salimos por aquí. ¿Estamos dando vueltas en círculos? No, vale.
See, like, this is it. The whole game. And there's nothing that's particularly interesting about it. You just walk to the end of a hallway. Except, for some reason, Coda gets really fixated on this prison that has all of this modern furniture. And I don't know why, but he decides he needs to revisit this prison. He's gonna start over, use the same assets, turn it into something else. Okay, cool. Here's version 2.
Versión 2. Ok. ¿Qué muebles deberían ir en el centro de la habitación? ¿Qué te parece una tele con sonido envolvente? Vale, ¿y qué ponemos en la pared? 10 estufas en fila por la pared. Bueno, los sofás. Creo que deberíamos poner un poco más de luz a esta habitación. Bobinas de Tesla en cada esquina. Y falta algo aquí. Una mesa, necesitas una mesa. Seguro que nada de lo que elija valdrá para nada.
There's a bit more to this one, but still it's not really communicating anything. It's kind of just weird for weirdness' sake.
Exacto. Y muy extraño, la verdad.
So okay, he throws it out and starts over. This time he comes at the prison idea from a different direction.
Ajá, vale. Hola, anda hacia adelante. Esta guía te ayudará a escapar de cualquier escenario de petición. Siga las instrucciones detenidamente. Procura recordar cada paso. Haz clic en esta mesa. Ahora desde el marco y gíralo a la derecha. Apagamos y luego volvemos a encender. El sofá que está a la izquierda, muévelo un poco. Toca las estanterías. Estas. Eso es, en una prisión real el lugar de vida estará ahora abierto. Regresa al principio para regresar a tu prisión. Volver.
And of course, now the table is gone and you can't begin the chain of events to escape. Here's a version where there are no bars, but you can't actually get to the well. and then a version where the inside of the prison is the outside and the outside is the inside. Let me just blink you real quick through a few more of these. I mean, he really unloaded on this prison idea. There's nearly a dozen.
Wow.
Personally, I think it's awful to watch this. To see a person basically unraveling through their work.
Mira, está la puerta y otra vez.
So what? Like, at what point do you just go, maybe there are game ideas other than this prison that I could be working on? But Coda doesn't have that voice telling you to stop. That particular mechanism of defense against yourself.
Y otra vez
Without it, you
esto.
just spiral. And so he keeps going and going and going and going and going, and then he hits on something. And he likes it. And that's it. He's done. He stops making prisons.
¿Qué es lo que descubre?
This is the very last version of the prison game that he created. And the reason I think it works is that the prison is not actually in
What?
it.
La puta farola. Ahí está. La puta farola. No puedo mover el ratón, ¿eh? ¿Hola? ¿Quién es? Soy yo, soy tú después de haber escapado de la prisión. ¿Eres yo? ¿Tú también estás atrapada en esta prisión?
It's a conversation. And so this is what Coda wants, is to be able to talk to someone, to share what's on his mind, and to get some good advice from someone who knows. But the irony is that even in this scenario, you're still talking to yourself. You know, all of these games so far are Coda talking to himself.
Exacto. Cuando ya es... Registra una llamada terrorista de ti cuando estás atrapada. Escapaste, tal vez pueda ir a encontrarte. ¿Qué tengo que hacer? Dios, esto se está poniendo deep. Tengo miedo de que nada cambie nunca.
I can see why he considers this a fitting conclusion to the prison games. After all of the obsession and frustration, just to be told by someone you can trust that things are going to be okay. Wouldn't that be nice?
Agosto de 2009.
So what would it look like if Coda wanted to make a game about talking to someone other than himself? To me, this environment is meant to represent Coda's puzzle, with the two doors on either side and a dark transitional space between.
Sí, me alegra un montón de que hayas venido. Pensé que iba a tener que limpiar toda esta casa yo sola. Y eso no me hubiese gustado nada. Todo el mundo sabe que unas manos solitarias dejan una casa sucia.
You'll notice that the quality of the art is a step up from previous games, including this new and improved chat system, which he started using from this point on. From here on out, he begins putting much more effort into the visual polish of his work, and this particular game took 2 months to create as a result.
A la habitación y hacer la cama. Aquí. Make the bed. ¿Por qué no estiras un poco la alfombra? Vale. ¿Te gusta limpiar? Bueno, más que gustarme, en realidad lo necesito. Mientras estoy trabajando siento como una especie de calma en mi interior. Parece que mi alma no puede ser calmada de otra manera y supongo que eso es todo lo que importa. Ah, yo soy un sofá bien colocado. ¿Te importaría poner bien los cojines del sofá? Ay, vaya, parece que a alguien se le ha caído una bebida al lado del sofá. ¿Por qué no pasas la fregona ya que estás ahí? Me siento la obligación de compartir un pensamiento un poco cursi. ¿Te parece bien? Que sí, especialmente cursi. No. No, era una tontería, perdona, da igual. Oye, hay que lavar estos platos, ¿te importa? La última vez que me fijé en la bañera había que limpiarla. Vale. ¿Todavía hay libros tirados por uso de la habitación? ¿Te importaría ponerlos de nuevo en la estantería? Perfecto. Ahora, ¿por qué no quitas estos platos sucios de la mesa? Otra vez.
It's the moment after a particularly difficult or traumatic experience where you just need to let it sit and digest inside of you, and eventually cohere into something meaningful.
Sotarlas que se le permitiera una cosa, cariño. En tu vida vas a tener que limpiar un montón de casas y de entre todas solo unas pocas destacarán por ser experiencias realmente maravillosas y hermosas. Y ninguna de estas serán las casas fáciles. Piensa en mí mientras estiras la alfombra de la habitación.
This was during a period of a few months where he was like grossly happy all the time. Just walked around with a constant smile on his face.
Antes, cuando te dije que había tenido un pensamiento muy cursi, iba a decir que para mí la casa de una persona es como su alma. Te ocupas de ella y ella se ocupa de ti. No sé por qué me siento así por decir eso. Pero tiene su parte de verdad, ¿no? En fin. Bien. Limpiar. Sigamos con esto. Libros, ¿te importa colocar los libros? Gracias. Los cojines encima del sofá están hechos un desastre. ¿Te importa colocarlos bien? Pregunta. ¿Te gusta hacer esto?
The music stops, your companion is gone, it's time to leave. The door at the top of the hill is now open as well. Again, you can't stay in the dark space for too long. You just can't. You have to keep moving. It's how you stay alive.
De acuerdo. Y la farola, como...
Which is the whole point of the puzzle doors, right? That sooner or later you have to pick up and move.
Claro.
I really thought that was the point of it.
Septiembre de 2009. Los objetos que te encantan a precio solo para miembros. ¿Por qué habéis venido hoy aquí? ¿Es para mejorar vuestras vidas? ¿Es para conseguir un mejor trabajo? ¿Es para hacer que vuestras relaciones sean más insignificantes? No. Habéis venido aquí para ser perfectos. Este taller os va a enseñar a ser perfectos. Nos hemos movido. Quiero que vuestros amigos, la gente en vuestra vida os miran y digan: wow, esta persona es mejor ser humano que yo. Ahora mismo, ¿sobre quién pensáis así en vuestra vida? ¿Quién conocéis que ha crecido tanto como persona que os hace sentiros asqueados con vosotros mismos? Comparado con esa persona, os sentís inútiles, egoístas, ingratos. Quiero convertiros en esa persona. La perfección está a vuestro alcance. Y la cuestión no es cómo lo conseguimos, sino cómo lo conseguimos sin esfuerzo. Es fácil. Es tan fácil. Es tan fácil. Ser perfecto se consigue sin esfuerzo. Esta es la clave. ¿Cómo lo consigo sin esfuerzo? Bien, te lo diré ahora. Si requiere esfuerzo, entonces no es la respuesta correcta. Si te estás torturando tratando de encontrar las soluciones correctas para tu vida, es que no lo estás haciendo bien. Busca solo una cosa, el camino que sea más fácil y simple. No hay ninguna verdad, no hay ningún camino. Haz lo que sea más fácil, haz lo que sea más simple. Siento lo verdadero. Nada. Nadie.
I felt pretty hard for this one. I feel
Perfección.
like it's one of the most relatable experiences that you can have. To assume that some other person is perfect and totally fulfilled in every way, and completely miss all of the little flaws that make them painfully human. I think about this game a lot these days.
Enero de 2010. Hemos pasado al 2010. Por cierto, vamos a seguir jugando. Ya llevamos... que no me ha dado tiempo a comentarlo. Vale, no
This one took a lot
se está
longer
hablando,
than
espera.
all the others for Coda to make. It was 4 months between this and the last one. That's twice as long as it took him to make any other game before this. And it's not like it's particularly complex, so I remember I found that a little strange at the time.
Vale, eso, vamos a seguir jugando porque creo que el juego no es muy largo. Y no me gustaría dejar un juego que se va a terminar en el siguiente vídeo que hagamos de él, o directo, o lo que sea. Así que va a ser el vídeo más largo del Mechinverse probablemente. Pero vamos a terminar, o sea, vamos a jugarlo de una. En la encuesta que veréis hoy, pues... Este es el que salía en el tráiler, ¿verdad? Del teatro. ¿Qué es esto? Está bien, la actuación va a comenzar, todo el mundo a su sitio. En esta escena haces de mí. Estamos en una reunión de profesionales. En primer lugar, apoyado en esa pared. ¿En esta? Ah, no, en esta. Bien, quédate ahí. La mujer que está en la habitación, en esta silla, es una fotógrafa profesional de animales. Tu sueño es fotografiar animales profesionalmente. Esta es tu única oportunidad de aprender algo de ella, de conseguir algo, de tener éxito. Vamos, ve y di algo. Hola. Hola, y ya está. Eso no es una conversación. Tienes que conversar con ella, ser un ser humano. Hazlo de nuevo. Estoy súper asustado ahora mismo. No, eso no es lo que dije. Me estás pillando el tono de la conversación. Era reticente, pero sabía lo que quería, tenía confianza. Por alguna razón era solo ese momento, pero tenía confianza. Igual es que necesitas más contexto sobre la situación. Había demasiada gente alrededor. Te pondré algo de atrecho. Estos conos que rebotan cuando los tocas representan a la gente alrededor. Ahora habla con ella otra vez. ¿Qué sacrificios has tenido que hacer? La estás liando otra vez. ¿La vas a asustar si la conversación se vuelve así de personal tan pronto? ¿No te das cuenta de lo importante que era esto para mí? Nunca volveré a tener una oportunidad como esta. Todo dependía de esto. Quiero probar algo. Trata de alejarte del escenario. La puta farola, tío. Bien,
The
sí.
game ends with this eerie premonition of what's going to happen next in Coda's life. The solution to social anxiety, to fears of having to perform and having to chase success, the answer for Coda is to withdraw, to hide himself away. Which is what leads to scenarios like the stairs that slowed you down several games ago, where it just becomes harder and harder to access Coda's inner landscape because he keeps retreating. He just keeps backing away from possible connections to anyone other than himself. And to be honest, I didn't consider it very healthy when I first played this game. You know, it looked to me like he was trying to justify the idea of just disconnecting yourself from the world. And that
Y empiezan a
wasn't what I
sonar
wanted
ruidos
for
muy
him
raros.
or for his games. Because I feel like a lot of his games are inviting me to connect with this person, to bring him closer. But what can you do? After this, Coda went off and took another 5 months to make a new game.
Junio de 2010. Viaje de Mobius. Para jugar a este juego correctamente, tienes que tener los ojos cerrados. Haz clic para empezar a jugar. No sé qué está pasando. A ver, si no los abro... Si no los abro, no sé. O sea, no sé qué está pasando si no los abro. Pero si los abro, no sé. Vale, voy a abrirlos.
You should probably open your eyes if you haven't already. It's pretty much impossible to solve otherwise.
Vale, gracias.
And there is a solution, by the way.
Ayuda, no veo. Vale, supongo que eso es lo que se ha chocado con todos nosotros. Que alguien me hable, por favor. No, ¿verdad? Correcto, esto es lo que nos ha chocado antes. Oh, vale. La única forma de tenerlo es diciendo algo que sea honesto. Vale. Voy a tenerlo es diciendo algo que sea honesto. Sí, eso es verdad.
Like I said, I was
Me
getting
quedo sin
concerned.
ideas.
First off,
Siga
he's
así,
never been
siga
this
hablando.
explicit in his work about exactly what he's thinking. So, where's that coming from? But then even weirder,
No he
his
sido
work has
honesta.
potentially stopped being an
Estás
outlet for
consiguiendo,
him.
está funcionando.
Not like he's having trouble iterating on ideas, but he literally just can't think of new ideas anymore. And in person, he was being a lot more distant than usual. Like, you know how sometimes a person will just deflect anything that you say in order to keep themselves disconnected all the time? It was that kind of thing. Here was the point in my relationship with Coda where I really started to wonder if he needed my help in some way. His games are going to get more desperate from here on
Ay,
out.
Dios mío.
After this game, it's almost 6 months before he finishes something new.
Vale. Diciembre de 2010. ¿Dónde estoy? ¿De dónde salí esta isla? ¿Eso es una persona? ¡Qué bien! Hace mucho tiempo que no hablo con nadie. La música es muy extraña. ¿Qué te ocurre? Parece que te has perdido. Joder. Me he quedado completamente sin ideas. ¡Oh, no! ¿Qué ha ocurrido? ¿Ha cambiado algo? ¡Sí, la música! Estoy tratando de encontrar esa máquina que solía protegerme para arrancarla de nuevo. Espera, ¿estás buscando una máquina? Creo que sé dónde está. No está muy lejos. Tienes que llevarme hasta ella. Puedo hacerlo, pero hay un problema. Tengo que girar por un acertijo difícil.
This one turns it up to 11. Now, put yourself in my shoes playing this. Here's a friend whose work is exhibiting signs of struggle, frustration, anxiety, depression, even. And yet, still, he keeps making games. He keeps throwing himself into the grinder even when he clearly doesn't have the energy for it anymore. Why? What is it for? Because from my perspective at the time, and just what I knew of him, this was a result of how isolated he was. He was in his own little bubble, worked, just sitting at his computer all day, not really showing these games to anyone, not releasing them onto the internet, and so he didn't have anyone outside of himself to connect with. He had no outlet to ground himself on.
Bien, ¿y ahora qué hago? Ahora pulsa este interruptor. ¡Ja, qué fácil!
You can't talk yourself out of loneliness. It doesn't work that way.
No, claro.
You can't be the one writing both the questions and the answers. Then there's no movement. Then there's no circulation. If all of your anxieties are being channeled into your work, then if the work ever fails, you have no backup and you're just going to crash.
Estoy diciendo que la creación es fácil.
Seeing this game at the time that he made it, it looked really unhealthy to me. I was watching him do this to himself, and I hated it. I hated seeing him so trapped. It's like, video games are not worth this amount of suffering.
No para nada.
This is someone I really cared about. And I used to get so much joy out of seeing him create. For him to suddenly become angry and frustrated like this, it was the worst thing for me. I don't know. This is what I felt at the time. I don't know how else to explain it. I wanted it to stop more than anything. I had never felt so rotten. I needed more than I had ever needed anything for this
Ay,
to
Dios.
stop. But it didn't stop.
No.
After finishing this one, Coda takes another 7 months and comes up with a new game.
Sí, eso es 2011, efectivamente, mayo. La máquina. La máquina que decía que necesitaba encontrar en el anterior. Guardia. Hola, me alegro de que hayas llegado a salvo. Hemos capturado la máquina. Te está esperando. Puedes empezar el interrogatorio cuando quieras. Pretendo ser rápida. Muy bien. Te aviso de que alguien ha llamado a la prensa, así que podríamos tener algo de atención. También hay otra cosa más que deberías saber sobre la máquina. Se hace llamar Coda. ¡Ja! Prensa, 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 prensa.
And of
Te has
course,
detenido.
it's the machine.
Has dejado de alimentarnos. Esa gente de ahí fuera, ¿te puedes imaginar el dolor que les has causado? Bien, esto es lo que tiene que suceder. Tienes que salir ahí fuera y disculparte. ¿No? ¿Nada? Está bien, hablaré con ellos de tu parte. Mis amigos. Tengo una revelación inquietante. La máquina se niega a admitir que nos hirió deliberadamente. Pero esto no es importante. Somos más fuertes de lo que se piensa. Debemos demostrarle que no somos unos fracasados. Seguidme, destruiremos todo lo que ha creado la máquina. El teatro otra vez. Y el... Coda, me aseguraré de que se te conozca para siempre.
so now the work is becoming self-destructive. And I'll tell you, at the time that I first played this game, shortly after he made it, here's what I'm thinking to myself. I'm thinking that Code is stuck in his own head, and that it's having a very negative effect on him, and that all he needs to do is just start showing his work to people, to get some actual feedback on his games. It might get him out of isolation. And so, as I'm thinking this, I realize that I could be the one to initiate it. Because it would never occur to Coda to start actively soliciting feedback, so what if I did it for
Las
him?
máquinas de escribir.
If he could see the difference it would make to have more actual conversations with other human beings, would that bring him out of his mental spiral? Would it give him confidence in himself? Would it bring meaning back into his work?
Esta sala otra vez. Es eso, estamos destruyendo lo que creó. Estamos destruyendo sus juegos.
So I started showing Coda's work to people. I took this one, and the islands which you just played, the theater, the notes, the house cleaning game, and some of the prison escape games. I brought them to people that I knew and trusted. I asked their opinions. And the great part is that they really loved his games. You know, the point of it all was just to give him some external reference point, but they genuinely loved his work.
Es otra vez la puerta.
There was nothing for him to be afraid of.
La máquina y la farola otra vez. No me puedo mover. Deja el arma.
Can you see why I felt like this was the right thing to do? Because it's the thing that I always feel like I need. To be told that my work is good. That I am good.
No puedo hacer nada más, Ni me puedo mover, ni puedo mover la cámara. Solo puedo hacer esto.
Purely in my work, there's nothing that feels better. And I got to give that very same feeling to my friend. I did something... I really felt like I'd done something good. Like I was a good person. Felt like there was a friend who was in trouble and was unhappy and
Voy a dejar de
maybe
hacerlo
didn't
porque a
like
lo mejor
themselves, and I could
os
fix
está dando un poco de
it. If I could
epilepsia.
give him this gift,
Pero es que no
maybe
sé
I
si
could
tengo que
fix
seguir.
the
Vamos a
problem.
dejar que termine de hablar, por si
They
acaso.
told me how much they enjoyed his games. It was the best feeling. It's the absolute best feeling. It made me feel so happy. So beautifully, beautifully happy.
Pero
So anyway, Coda finishes this game, and then really he just kind of takes off for a while. So this is June of 2011, and I didn't hear anything from him for several weeks, I guess. And so out of nowhere, one day I get an email, and it's got a private link to a new game of Coda's. This one is called The Tower, and to my knowledge, it's the last game that Coda
vamos a ver
ever
el
made.
último ya.
So let's take a look.
Vamos a ver el último juego. Junio de 2011. La torre.
And this is where I have trouble saying anything meaningful about Coda's work. Because more than anything else, the tower just feels distant. It feels like it's trying to distance itself from the world. It's a very cold game.
Sí. Se va a cerrar esto detrás de mí, ¿verdad? No pensaba que sí.
This room actually has a maze in it. Except that all the walls of the maze are invisible. And then every time you touch one of the walls, there's this awful flashing and noise. So the experience is really miserable. The game goes beyond not being meant to be played. It actually seems to despise the player for trying to play it at all.
¿Me vas a dar lo del enter?
But I do want to show you the rest of the level, so
Sí.
when you're ready to continue, press enter and I'll put a bridge over the maze.
Sí, venga. Vamos a hacer eso. La música y el ruido de fondo es muy creepy.
And to be fair, it's not like this is the first game that's needed some modification to be playable. Like the house cleaning game. You know, that one used to actually loop the cleaning chores and you just cleaned a house forever. I had to cut it off so that you could exit the house and the game would actually end.
Oh,
But that game had an idea that it was actually trying to communicate. What's the deeper idea behind the invisible maze? The only way past this challenge is to randomly guess the 6-digit code. Like the invisible maze, it's frustrating to me, because it's the opposite of everything else that Coda has made. It doesn't encourage thought or engagement. It doesn't ask anything of me, except a lot of my time. If I could have reached him during this time, then maybe I could have asked him, but I couldn't. I still don't really understand why this is here. I'll put the code on the ground for you here, though, so that we can move on.
esto se está empezando a poner rarísimo.
The switch to open this door is actually on the other side of the door,
Joder.
meaning that it's literally impossible to solve from this side. So even if you somehow brute forced your way through the first 2 challenges, and you got to this point, there's actually just no way to progress. And it's scary for me, the idea of Coda cutting himself off entirely, just saying, you know, that's it, that's the end of the conversation, not giving me any way to fix the problem. I feel like a failure, I guess, when I can't fix the problem. But I can open this door for you, so let me do that.
Vale. Vamos a ver el juego entero, aunque no...
Was I a failure for not understanding this game? I mean, I don't know why I would be. It's not like everything needs to have a solution, but I feel it somehow. I feel like I failed, and I don't understand why. I remember, it's June of 2011. I'm playing this for the very first time. And as I'm playing, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know this person. I have no idea who this person is. It wasn't the guy I knew, it wasn't my friend. I had come to so many conclusions from looking at all of his work up to this point, and then suddenly none of them... I had been trying to, though. That was the thing. For years I was trying to get to know him, to understand who he actually was and what he stood for. I asked him so many times to please just tell me what his games mean.
No se lo dijo ninguna vez, ¿no?
I asked him please to tell me what the 3 dots mean.
Exacto, lo hemos visto alguna vez.
And he wouldn't.
Hemos visto creo que 2 veces o 3. Los 3 puntos esos.
I just felt so strongly that if I could have connected with him, that if I could have somehow made his work my own, that I would finally be once and for all happy. It was that I needed to see myself in someone else. I needed to be someone other than me. But he stopped and left. And it felt somehow like I had failed.
Claro, por no poder. Lo entiendo, tiene sentido. Sí.
Where did I screw up?
Quizá en ninguna parte. Estimado David.
I'm the reason that you stopped making games, aren't I? It's because of what I did.
Gracias por tu interés en mis
Poisoned it
juegos.
for you.
Tengo que pedirte que no vuelvas más a hablarme. Esto se lo estaba diciendo, claro, al narrador, al hombre este. A veces me
I don't
pregunto.
think I ever told you this, but when I took your work and I was showing it to people, it actually felt... it felt as though I were responsible for something important and valuable.
A veces me pregunto si crees que estoy haciendo estos juegos para ti. Has contaminado tanto mi espacio personal. Joder.
The people who played them, they treated me like I was important. You really listened and cared about what I had to say. Even though I was showing your work, I felt good about myself. Finally. For a moment, while I had that, I liked myself.
Has contaminado tanto mi espacio personal que es imposible que haya empezado a plantar soluciones en mi trabajo en alguna parte, ocultas entre los juegos. Si hubiera una respuesta, un significado, serías más feliz. ¿Puedes dejar de coger mis juegos y enseñárselo a la gente contra mi voluntad? ¿Dejar de darles algo que no es tuyo? ¿Violar la única frontera que me mantiene a salvo? ¿Puedes dejar de cambiar mis juegos? ¿Dejar de colgarles farolas? ¿Puedes dejar simplemente que sean como son?
And I didn't have anything left to show people. I just had to be with myself. And as soon as that happened, there was no feeling at all. Nothing. Less than nothing.
Cuando estoy cerca
What
de
does
ti,
that mean?
me siento físicamente enfermo. Necesitas desesperadamente algo que no puedo darte. Literalmente no lo tengo. Que me cueste tener nuevas ideas no me está deprimiendo. Los bajones son solo parte del proceso. El hecho de que pienses que estoy frustrado o derrotado dice más de ti que de mí. Soy consciente de que esto todavía no tiene sentido para ti. Y eso está bien, tú no eres mi problema. Pero espero que un día te des cuenta y te concilies con lo que estás luchando. Y cuando entiendas finalmente de lo que estoy hablando, no digas nada. Y aquí no hay.
That's why I'm releasing this collection of your
Y
work.
aquí no hay.
Is because I haven't been able to find any other way to reach you. I've tried everything. And so a part of me has hope that if I put this compilation out into the world, and if I put my name on it, that maybe enough people will play it so that it'll find its way to you, so that I can tell you that I'm sorry. I know I screwed up.
Se está acercando. No me gusta eso.
I apologize to you, truly and deeply. Will you start making games
No
again?
me gusta que se está acercando a la
Please.
pantalla.
I need to feel okay with myself again. And I always felt okay as long as I had your work to see myself
Creo que
in.
se está cerrando.
I mean, is something wrong with me? Because I know that I did an awful thing, and I'm doing it again right now. Like, I'm showing people
Sí, claro,
your
es lo
work,
que iba a decir
but
antes.
I can't stop myself from doing it. That's how badly I need to feel something again, like I'm an addict. There has to be something wrong with me. Can I apologize? What if I tell you I was wrong? Will that work? Will that fix it? I don't know. I don't think it will, but there's nothing else that I can do. Just tell me what you want. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please, start making games again. Please help me. Please give me some of whatever it is that makes you complete. I want whatever that wholeness is that you just summoned out of nothing and you put into your work. You were complete in some way that I never was. I want to know I want to know how to be a good person. I want to know how not to hate myself. Please. I'm fading, and all I want is to know that I'm going to be okay.
Y... epílogo.
More love, more praise, more people telling me that I'm good. Always more. It's like a disease. Solution. I guess if someone had told me ahead of time that he just really enjoyed making prison games, maybe I wouldn't have thought he was so desperate. I wouldn't have told so many people that he was depressed. Maybe he just likes making prisons. Even now, the disease is telling me to stop. Don't show people what a shitty person you are. They'll hate you. If I knew that my life depended on finding something to be driven by other than validation, what would that even be? It's strange, but the thought of not being driven by external validation is unthinkable. Like, I actually cannot conceive of what that would be like. What now? I think I need to go.
Lo siento por no estar comentando nada.
I'm sorry, because I know that I said that I would be here and I would walk you through this, but I'm starting to feel like I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot that I need to make up for. And so I'm just gonna... Okay.
Vale, se lo siento por no estar comentando nada ahora. Es que mi cerebro está tratando de asimilar lo que está ocurriendo. Porque estoy muy confuso. En plan bien, pero... Bueno, supongo... ¡No lo sé! Ah... ¿No volver a hablarnos entonces? No sé si va a volver a hablar, no sé. Lo que no es... Aún no sé si es real o no. Al principio pensaba que podría serlo, pero ahora mismo lo estoy dudando. Ya veo a dónde vas, juego. Ya veo a dónde vas. Ya empiezo a ver a dónde vas. La cosa es, ¿moriré o empezaré a flotar otra vez? Floto. Ay, Dios. Este proyecto no hubiera sido posible sin las siguientes personas. Y salen ahí, pues, personas. Dejarlo un poco, que esta parte está un poco alta la música. No sé qué decir ahora mismo. Me siento confuso. A varios niveles. O sea, estoy tratando de asimilar qué está ocurriendo, qué ha ocurrido más bien. Pero es que no sé. No sabría qué deciros. Y ya está. Y pues esto era el juego. Esto era el juego, supongo. Estoy muy confuso. Mi mente va a tardar un rato en asimilarlo. No os robo más tiempo de vuestras vidas, que ya os he robado 1 hora y cuarto con este vídeo, pero es eso. Quería terminarlo en un solo vídeo y me alegro de haberlo hecho. No sé qué ha sido. No sé qué ha pasado. No sé qué ha ocurrido. Pero en fin, no os robo más tiempo. Si tenéis teorías, conclusiones, si que me queréis comentar algo, me lo podéis comentar aquí abajo en los comentarios. Os lo agradecería un montón. A ver si entre todos podemos sacar cosas de este juego. Pero como sea, espero que os haya gustado. Si os ha gustado, como siempre digo, dejadme un buen like, comentad. Mi Twitter también está aquí abajo en la descripción, como siempre. Y nos vemos mañana en un juego nuevo. Adiós.